First, um, this is most of this is in reference to having an interview with Phil Freeman. Phil Freeman's a great guy. This man is a gentleman, a scholar. He's funny. He's just an all around good dude. Since I met him, I have nothing bad to say about him. And he we built a relationship. And I know a lot of people probably see my other posts and they you know they may not like it, but they don't know what's going on with my family, and I got to protect my family, and I grew up different. You know what I mean? And I am different. I came from a tough place, and I was in a tough place for a long time. So you know what I mean. But I appreciate this man, and all of it's in reference to like I said, the comments in which were being made on the interview of the wreck. Some people said they couldn't follow along. Some people were talking about insurance fraud, oh, two times. They're just some of these guys are probably friends of the mouth, and these guys that were whatever, that you know what they were doing. They're working with each other, to make me look bad, and they failed. That's exactly what happened. You know what I mean? That's exactly what happened. But I understand what slander is. I don't lie. I understand what defamation is, and I don't do that. Has it happened to me? Absolutely, absolutely. And my passengers know. My passengers know because these guys call my passengers, and they've asked before my boat was wrecked. I'm trying to steal my people, and that's a no-no. I mean, there was a captain. I'm not going to say his name that got escorted off one of these boats because that's what they claimed he was doing, and but it could happen to me. You know what I mean? These guys are hypocrites. They're hypocrites. They think because they've been here so long they can do what they want. Well, I'm not a little kid. I'm not a little kid, and I dressed it accordingly. I went about it the right way, and I was just told that that's just our business, and all of a sudden now, whatever happens with my boat is just our business. You know what I mean? And I could have taken a different route, but we're not. We're not gonna go there. We're gonna go to the comments. So insurance fraud. Well, listen to this. Insurance fraud. Well, not for me, because I got nothing. I had everything on that boat. Everything on that boat. I was living on my boat. So if you want to talk to me about insurance fraud, not it. I mean, you can't even say about that the first one. I mean, no, I lost everything. Went back to sleeping in my car. I mean, I was a day from sleeping in a bush. One day from sleeping in a bush when I got kicked off my boat and other people were living on their boat. They're staying on their boat. Like that's how I was being treated. So nah, let's not talk about insurance fraud. I fixed it. I had bankruptcy, and that bankruptcy was the reason why all these guys, one guy, got all these guys to push on me. And I heard some of the reasons. They're all like, he just wants to get paid. Like, what are you talking about? This dude's been getting paid, and these guys are just that. That's all they do is talk behind your back. They're worse than people, women. You can't even refer to them as women because women are more. They carry more they don't got nuts, but they're just like they carry more. You know what I mean? Like they talk more than them. So, and this is all that group, whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, they couldn't tell me to my face. They should have just. I always minded my business. I always minded my business, but I always offered a helping hand. So, what does it say? Insurance? No, negative. Uh, Foul play? Not on my behalf. My crew members, none of us, we all tested, even whoever crashed that boat. No, negative. Now, if you want to talk about, we want to talk about that wreck, I'll tell you like this. I got the incident report. This is the incident report. It blamed me for not orientating him to the boat, which I did. I drove the boat 30 minutes out. I gave this man a full, and I had Steve Martinez on the boat before, and I did the same thing. Hey, showed him everything, showed him the roving watch, which is what was one of the greatest implementations that we had going on. I had that alarm clock, that aqua alarm going off every 30 minutes, and then I would check the engine room with my camera, and my crew member would check our people, and he had to log it and what time, just like I did. So that's what I taught every captain that came on my boat. This is mandatory, and this had to be done. This man, he knew what he was doing. He knew how to do it because I oriented him to the boat before and 30 minutes on the way out, the whole time. And as soon as I handed it over to him, he knew how to use the radar. He knew how to use everything else. I set that Garmin to China Bay. And even though ended up in Scorpion because he followed the fleet, um, he knew what he was doing. He knew how to drive a boat. Because at night, if you could drive a boat straight without autopilot, you could drive a boat. Now, that was another thing Coast Guard held me responsible on. These incident report was I did not orientate him to the boat. I did. They said there was no it was the visibility was low. It was at night. I drive boats at night too, and your main instruments are your main instruments at night are your radar and your plotter. Your secondary is your plotter. Your radar is your number one. If you have both installed in that equipment, even better. I've driven boats that have both in there, and it's a great system. But both were functioning, both were at 100%. I set that Garmin uh, to China Bay first, and and whatever he got us there. He drove the boat for an hour and a half, got us to that first grounds. He was utilizing that 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 plotter. He changed it. He put it exactly where he could see it. The radar was still at 3 miles, which is where I left it, because I on the way out from the harbor I have it at point 0.5. On the way, once I start getting underway, I'm outside the break wall. I changed that to 3 miles. I run it at three. Steve Chesley will run it at 2.5. Um, and that gives me time to maneuver, out of any object, boat, whatever's way. So it was there. Anyhow, low visibility, loose items. Let me tell you this: I cleaned that boat up. I cleaned the whole thing up. Have I had loose items there? Yeah, but loose items, like, I mean, this man's a captain. Can't you grab it and secure it? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this man is a qualified captain. I mean, that it takes at least 2 years to get your time on the water, and you try to tell me that he doesn't understand how to secure whatever it could be. It could be a water can, a water bottle, or a soda can. I mean, but a loose item. This is ridiculous. That that I didn't have autopilot, which is they held me responsible for. The man knew we didn't have autopilot. If he couldn't run the boat with autopilot, without autopilot, he should have told me. It's no excuse. It's not mandatory. It's not mandatory. So I don't know why Coast Guard was holding me responsible for that. And the last of it, they held me responsible for not answering a phone call. Now, when I left that Coast Guard office, I signed a paper that one of Coast Guard gave me, and let me mind you, this man was the one that was helping this other landing harass me straight up. It was harassment. Now, I signed a paper, and that paper stated on there it could be $250,000 for the cleanup. Now, I told them, do whatever you got to do. I'll sign that paper. Now, listen to this. My insurance did not want that boat to be pulled out, and against their and against what they wanted, their wishes. I said, "Nah, you pull that boat out. You get that boat out of the water immediately, because I do not want it to pollute and that environment. Is period. I mean, it's the right thing to do. Why they didn't they were saying they needed still some more authorizations. Um, and Coast Guard held me responsible for missing a phone call. My boat wrecked. My boat sunk. I mean, I saved my people, and I mean, you don't think there's some type of, some type of, mental disturbed. You know what I mean? I was mentally disturbed, like, and I did call him back, and I got the email, and they held me responsible for that. And the only thing they didn't hold me responsible for was for a dangerous maneuver this man did. They didn't even say what it was. He didn't fall asleep. That's for sure. Why was he driving that close to the island? I have no idea. Did he know how to use the radar? He was using it. He changed it from 3 to 1. So, he he was driving along the island. I don't know how I got there because I took that from China Bay. I took it out towards Santa Barbara, 2 3 miles out, and then I handed it off. And then I had put that Garmin on Valdez. So if I left that spot in China Bay, listen to this, I would have hit exactly where he hit, like really close, right there at Pelican Bay. I'm telling you like this. I have my plotter, I have everything. I took that boat 2 3 miles out towards Santa Barbara, and then I told him, "Hey, you gotta relieve me now. It's your turn." So what I did when I relieved him, like I let the boat go, and I'm like, he can catch a course again. And I told him, look at that arrow. That arrow's gonna take you to Valdez, and you're gonna have to go along the island. So at that point over there, you're gonna have to go stretch right. You're gonna have to push it out more, because if not, you're gonna end up hitting in Twin Harbors or something like that. It all sticks out before you before you can get to Valdez. You got to go around that. So that was the reason why I took it out. I know exactly what I did, and I know some people were talking about people being misled, and I actually worked with this captain, so I knew what the rumor was, because he kind of insinuated. He was like, "Hey, well, somebody told me I was driving this boat for somebody, and these tuna pens were there, and he told me, no, don't worry, they moved them." And he said he hit it. He ended up hitting it. I said, no, 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 wait. So that's what people are saying. I catch on quick. That's like reading between the lines. I said, no, 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 dude. I said, no, I didn't set this man up for failure. I did everything to prevent an accident. You know what I mean? Like everything. You know what I mean? If this man didn't know how to use a radar, it'd be different. This man knew how to use a radar. He changed it from 3 to 1. I'm telling you, I didn't change it. There was no need for me to change it. I had my plotter on me, and when I got close, I actually anchored up where I was snagging it earlier that day. It was actually now the day before, because I anchored up right there at 1 o'clock, and I pulled the anchor at 1:50. Um, and I got underway, and I handed it off to him like I think 220, between 210 and 220, and I had it on the plotter. This was like everything is timed. You can go to the track line, and confirm it. That's just what was great about that plotter, was that OCN, and I still got it. Like, you can go to that part of the track line, and it'll tell you your speed, your course, whatever, whatnot. You know what I mean? It's it's GPS. So, like I said, um, you know, people talk about, you know, they blame me. I didn't set this man up for failure. You know what I mean? The Steve Martinez ran the boat a couple weeks before that for me at night, and he knows, because he was driving that boat. He knows how that boat goes in circles. If he had fog. This man, he was driving through with that radar, using the radar, utilizing the radar. This other dude knew what he was doing. It's hard to drive my boat when you don't have autopilot, and you're dealing with fog. But what you do, you just gotta put that course, and you're gonna zigzag a little bit. You know what I mean? But you're gonna make it there. You're gonna make it there. You know what I mean? And your radar is your main instrument. So, what I mean? All this stuff. People try to, oh, well, there's 2 times. Well, 2 times, yeah, the boat. Okay, well, I mean, what did I have to do with the second, besides, hearing that this man said he wrecked it multiple times before he did? He never took it out of gear. Um, I mean, changing the radar. So if you change the radar, you know how close that island is. Well, if he's looking at my plotter, I mean, it shows it's my plotter is 12 by 12. It's like a 12 by 12. How could you not see the island?